Hello everyone. How's it going? Just trying to get the chat up on my laptop here. Comment hey if you can hear me. Hello. Right. So my laptop's frozen, which is great because I'm trying to like keep an eye on the live chat and answer any questions and all that. Oh, here we go. So yeah, couple people in. I'll wait until the numbers go up and all that. Just briefly. How's everyone doing, by the way? Because I can't remember the last time I did one of these, like, just, like, sat down Q&A live streams, because I do like doing the animation ones. And, but, like, the thing with them is, like, I have to get the camera set up and everything, and because I've got so many lights on me, I feel like I'm sweating buckets, and I'm also having to, like, communicate with you guys and answer your questions at the same time. They are fun, don't get me wrong, but, yeah, sometimes it's just nice to just do, like, a simple Q&A where I can focus on the questions and kind of chat off, and you can put this on in the background and do whatever you want, really, you know, and watch it back and sort of kind of thing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear you're doing bad, mate. So, I guess the plan is just questions in the chat. I'll answer as many as possible. I'll probably be going for like an hour-ish, hour and a half. We'll see what happens. But yeah, like, just fire away. Put your questions in the chat. I'll go through them one by one, and yeah. So you know, it could be to do with anything. Could be to do with wrestling figures. Could be to do with you know, wrestling in general or anything outside of that. So yeah, just put your questions in the chat. Fire away at me. So if you've got a question, just pop it in the chat and I'll answer it. So so happy birthday to your brother, first of all. I'm doing okay. That's a good question to start. It's a nice way to kind of open things up. I'm alright. I mean, like, moments before I came on, I essentially I spilled my drink, so I've had to clear that up mega quick to get the live stream going. But I'm doing alright. Like, I've done a bit of filming today for the next episode of Metal. Obviously, in storyline, it's been cancelled. There is going to be another episode, and then Triple H will kind of explain what's going on with Metal and what the kind of future of it will be. So that will be not this Saturday. This Saturday is NLW episode 98, and then the next Saturday will be episode 80 of Metal, where it'll kind of be something a little bit different. It'll be more promo based, with Triple H kind of explaining what his plans are with Metal and the roster and all that, and what he's going to do now that he's seemingly cancelled it. So that storyline will continue through the Royal Rumble and beyond. So yeah, will Spam and I continue my GM series? The thing is, I am helping Spam Wrestling out. If you don't follow Spam Wrestling, you definitely should. His channel, his pick fed is great. Definitely go and check it out. I've done some commentary for it, and it's just some really creative stuff. I really dig it. Our GM series, though, we're both quite busy people, so it's difficult for us to kind of agree on a time to kind of get it done, and we've both got some other things going on. Although I maybe would like to pick it up again in future, because it was a fun series. So the answer is maybe in future we'll pick it up again, but for right now we're a bit too busy, each of us. Right, if you make a pick fed, should I use Kevin Steen or Kevin Owens, same with Daniel Bryan and Bryan Danielson? So this is a good question about pick feds, whether to use their real life names or their indie names. Again, it's up to you. Like, personally, you know, sometimes people watching pick fed won't recognise the names Kevin Steen or Bryan Danielson, so you might want to go with the standard WWE names, or, you know, you could have your own spin on things and use the names Bryan Danielson. It's really up to you what you want to do, to be honest. Me personally, I'd probably go with Bryan and Owens, but if you want to go for a more indie, like ROH style pick fed, maybe go with Steen and Bryan. Hello TW Wrestling. Who's my favourite DC character? I'm not mad into my comic books, you know. I've watched a couple of the Marvel films. The only like films I've actually seen proper, I think, are probably one of the Spider-Mans with Tom Holland, is it? Yeah, I've seen one of them, and I've also seen some. I saw Into the Spider-Verse, which is one of my favourite. I know that's Marvel, but DC. I don't know. Batman. Is that too cliche to say Batman? I'll probably say Batman. Or the Joker, because I'm edgy, I guess. Suggestions if you make a pick fed. There's three key things to a good pick fed. It's number one, I think the main thing is good lighting. So a dingy pick fed, like you see now, the lighting on this Triple H fella ain't too great. But you want a light that is consistent, a light that's bright. I'd get some white LED lights off some photography lamps. I'd invest in some of those and use those for your pick fed. Lighting is the most important thing in my view. A good backdrop, that doesn't have to be a crowd. It could just be plain backcloud. But you don't want to see, like, I don't know, piles of laundry in the back, or, you know, the dog jumping up between pictures in the background. So get like a bit of black card, or like a plain white backdrop, or a crowd backdrop, whatever you want. Wrestlistic does some really good printouts that you can view on their site. So again, it's really up to you on that front. But yeah, and the third thing is probably just look at other people's feds. Not outright steal things, but just take inspiration and see how other people pose. See how, and you know what, Stage Creator and Naddy and Danny Meltzer, their podcast is pretty good as well, I must say. You know, they in their first episode they go through a lot of advice on starting a pick fed and just kind of the basics of it, and I think it's quite helpful to anyone starting off. So I definitely recommend checking out Talking Feds. Just search it. It's on Danny Meltzer's channel. But yeah, like, and also watch my tutorials on it. Sorry, it's a cheap plug. But yeah, that'll help you. Other than that, if you've got any more questions about how to do a pick fed, just pop them in the chat and I'll answer them. Right, why did I start NLW, Metal, Turbo, and 24/7? So with NLW, obviously, that's just the start of it. The reason I started NLW is because I wanted to do fantasy booking in figure form. The reason I started Metal is because at the time I was watching a lot of ECW shows, and I thought I want to make something that's kind of similar to this, in terms of the way it's paced, you know, with the taped matches and the highlights kind of thing. So that was kind of an inspiration for that, and also like Sunday Night Heat, I wanted to showcase some of the lower card stars, and that's what Metal originally was, and then it became its own thing. And likewise with NLW Turbo, I wanted to create a show that was exclusive to this channel, so it would be something that if you're subscribed to this channel, you can be notified of it, and it's a little bit of a bonus content there, and also show off some of the stars that I don't tend to showcase that often on NLW and Metal, and bring in some, you know, other names like Phantasma that I brought in on this week's Turbo, or Dakota Kai, just use other figures basically. And with NLW 24/7, I want to do more like big spectacular matches, such as, you know, a Greatest Royal Rumble and, you know, like cage matches and what have you, without overloading or overbooking the main NLW shows. So NLW 24/7 allows me to be a little bit more creative and a little bit more fun with my storylines. I don't have to plan it so far in advance. And in fact, like, a lot of the Patreon viewers are the ones who are requesting the matches and coming up with the storylines on that. So it's like a collaborative effort. So they're also really good at, you know, suggesting matches and suggesting ideas, and, you know, I love incorporating them, building on them, and all sorts. So NLW 24/7 for me is an opportunity for me to be a little bit more creative with it. NLW and Metal, that's like strictly, I'm taking that not more seriously, if you know what I mean, but more kind of regimented in the way that I'm booking it and writing the shows and things. But NLW 24/7, it's just something that's a little bit more fun for me to make, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching it. Don't know if you mentioned it, but what is your favourite NLW title run to book? I think I did mention it like in a past Q&A, but I'll mention it again. My favourite one to book is probably AJ Styles. I didn't make him the main focus of the show, which in hindsight I should have done. But yeah, just the series of matches he had it with Sting, the first one he had, and then the Iron Man match against CM Punk that I did, and then also the series of matches he had with The Undertaker, so the one at WrestleMania and then there was one inside Hell in the Cell. This was like 5 years ago. And then eventually losing it in the Chamber. But that was one, and like a mini feud with Brock Lesnar as well. So that's one I had a lot of fun making, because at that time he wasn't in WWE yet, so it was fun to kind of book that in a way. How's my day been? I've been alright, thank you, pal. I'm doing alright. Like, I've just been filming a bit of, as I said, for the people who've just joined, I filmed a bit of Metal today. And I've edited. I'm actually rendering the next episode of Metal at the moment. Obviously, you know, I said it's been cancelled, but there is one more episode, and then Triple H will kind of explain what's going on with Metal and that always. Who in AEW do you think should be built up, be higher up on the card than they are now? I think Brian Cage is someone who I think could be more of a main event talent. Likewise, Lance Archer. I think the bigger guys they could be using. You know, building up more. But then again, like the slow build and stuff like that they do, I think it makes sense. I'd love to say Hangman Page, but I know he's having a kid, so I understand why he won't be at All Out, but I'm just hoping that when he comes back, they'll put him straight back in the title picture. Yeah, so Lance Archer is definitely one that sticks in my mind. And then, like, as far as, like, the others go, I think Chris Statlander is probably being set up to be, like, a main event woman. You know, because she's undefeated at the moment, so I'd like to see her get more of, well, actually, no, she's undefeated, so I can't really say she's being underutilised at all. But yeah, and I'm trying to think of anyone else. Private Party, I think, could be a bigger tag team than they are. I know they're doing stuff with Matt Hardy and that, but I feel like they could, they probably should have won the tag titles by now. I think they've kind of cooled off a little bit, and it's a bit of a shame. But, you know, they usually knock it out of the park to AEW, and I'm looking forward to Rampage tonight. I'll be watching that tomorrow. Hola, D&D Wrestling Pickfed. You're about to finish your show, but you can't be able to finish it. You know what? I've had that as well. Like today, I was trying to film, and I just kind of lost a little bit of motivation. Although Metal wasn't too difficult to finish for me, but yeah, like sometimes the motivation goes. I find watching wrestling, just taking a break. If you're having burnout, watch my video that I did on this channel, how to avoid pick-fed burnout, because I wrote that when I was in kind of a hole, so to speak, and when I was feeling a bit down. You know, it just helps to kind of get a little bit more, what's the word? It just helps to just kind of take a break from it sometimes. Will there be another Raw rebooked type series like for NXT? You see, the thing with NXT is, like, I don't have the rest. I don't have a lot of the roster now that they've released them all for one. But yeah, the only reason I do Raw rebooked is because I think the show, to say the least, isn't very good. SmackDown, you know, it's not really my thing, but I know a lot of people enjoy it, so there wouldn't be really that much to rebook with SmackDown. I did plan on making a SmackDown rebooked, but that would be a lot of effort, and I feel like, you know, if people enjoy SmackDown, there's nothing really I can change about it. You know, they've got John Cena versus Roman Reigns and Edge versus Seth Rollins, for goodness sake, you know, going into SummerSlam, which are two massive matchups that I can't really beat. With Raw, though, you know, you've got a lot of poorly booked stuff like Karrion Kross, so I'm booking him like a dominant guy from the start. You know, the underutilization of Jeff Hardy, for instance, you know, like Riddle and Orton and all that stuff. It's just like the ideas that I'm thinking when I read the results of Raw, and I'm thinking, what are they doing here? That's why I kind of like to implement it in Raw rebooked and create a better show. And you know, let me know if you want me to continue Raw rebooked. I do enjoy doing it, but sometimes I kind of leave it quite late. And you know, I definitely, if you don't watch it regularly, I'd recommend watch. Obviously, I would, but I'd like more people watch Raw rebooked, because I do enjoy making that show. What's the best way to build up a wrestler in a pick fed? One thing only: have them win all the time. That's it. I know in WWE, there's this thing about, you know, having them lose every so often. If you want to build up a wrestler, just have them keep winning, man. Like, keep them winning, and eventually they'll go for a title. Maybe they'll lose, but after that, keep their momentum up and keep them winning. Sometimes it's good to just write down, you know, how many times has this wrestler won, or how many times has this wrestler lost, so that if you want to build someone up, but his win record is a bit naff, then you can always build them up and, you know, keep them more wins. So I'd say the best way to build a wrestler up is just by having them consistently win. But yeah, I know that's simple. Thoughts on Bobby Fish being released? Quite shocking. But then again, I know they're going in a new direction with NXT. I think he could have been a good asset as like a trainer or a coach. But again, they've just been hoarding talent, so it's not that surprising. I don't know where Bobby Fish will end up. You can imagine he'll probably be a trainer somewhere, maybe go back to Ring of Honor, do some like behind the scenes work there. But yeah, the one I was devastated about really was Bronson Reed, because he was the guy that was like, I'd seen a bit of his work on the Independents beforehand as Jonah Rock in PWG and all that. And to be honest, I wasn't that, I didn't connect with him immediately. But then watching him in NXT, because I did start watching NXT a lot more, like at the start of the year, and he was like by far, when he was wrestling, one of my favourites, and the way they built him up to win the title was like great, and now he's just gone. It's so weird, like you can't really invest in any of the characters there, so that's why I've kind of, stopped watching NXT again, which is a real shame. But yeah, you should be in the Talking Feds podcast. Well, you know what? If you want me to be on Talking Feds, all you have to do is like comment on their videos and like let them know that you'd want me as a guest, because I'm not going to go and beg them for it, But if you let them know that if you're interested in me being on that podcast, I feel like I could chat my way out of chat a little bit on the podcast. I think it'd be fun, because I was on Figs 31 podcast as well, and that was quite fun. But yeah, just let them know that you'd be interested in seeing NLW, and maybe they'll contact me if they're interested. That is. Hit me up, Nadie and Stage Creator and Danny. Go on. But no, it should be fun. I think it's a good idea actually to create like a figure podcast with like advice and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Get a Bobby Fish figure now. I mean, maybe, because they might, when they get released, sometimes they can become rare. So if you want to get one, I would. What characters would you say you need for a pick fed? I'd say mix a bunch of solid wrestlers as well as big characters. So by solid wrestlers, I mean your CM Punks, your Daniel Bryans, your Kevin Owens, guys that are really good wrestlers, and like Seth Rollins and all that. And then strong characters like The Fiend, Undertaker, Malachi Black, guys like that have character to them. Because then you can create fun storylines, within the Fed, if they've got like a gimmick to them. So I'd mix it with gimmicks and solid wrestlers. I have done a video in the past where I was letting people know, how to book a pick fed, how to write a pick fed, sorry. So that's on my channel. I kind of go for it a little bit more detail on there if you want to, check it out. You do figure shows every week, but don't post them. Rules, NXT Legends. You know what, yeah, Alfie, if you want to start an Instagram, I know that's quite a cool thing to do, because if you want to you can write your shows, or do your shows, play your shows, whatever you want to do with it. And then just post a picture every now and again on Instagram of your figures. It's a good way to get into the hobby. How long does it take for me to get a match done? So I found that with NLW 24/7, which is pick fed, I tend to get 2 matches done a day, and each one will probably be 6 minutes to 7 minutes long. With NLW, because the matches are shorter, maybe 1 or 2, usually just 1 match a day, I'd say I can get done. Sometimes a pay-per-view match will take 1 to 2 days, or I've actually already filmed the Royal Rumble, so that obviously because it's on Patreon. So if you want to go to Patreon, you can sign up for just $3 and watch the whole of the Royal Rumble right now if you want, and you'd be helping me out a lot, because it's I'd be really appreciative if you did that. But yeah, and you can watch the whole thing there. But the Royal Rumble match took me 4 days of solid filming, so it really depends on the length. I'd say I could probably get 1 match done in a day, maybe 2 if I'm pushing it, but very rarely anymore. How long did it take to make the triple cage match? That took about, I think I was lucky, I think I managed to do that in about 2 days. It might have been 3 actually. I might have done the bulk of the the bulk of the first half in 1 day, and then the next in another day. But I think I might have done the in-ring stuff for one solid day, and then the latter part where they're in the roof bit, that would have taken another day, and then to edit again another day on top of that. So altogether probably 3 days. Yeah, pick again, with figures that are guys that have just been released, you're probably best off by picking them off the shelves and seeing if you can get them before they go. I hate that my my live chat keeps crashing. Because it's so annoying. I'm trying to like keep up with it, but my laptop's just trash. Let's see. Do I have NLW episodes and pay-per-view already recorded? So usually the answer to this question would be yes. I do have them recorded for quite a while. For instance, NLW 98 I completed last Saturday, so that's going to be ready for tomorrow for you to watch. And I know I'm doing another cheeky plug, but I think episode 98 is pretty good. You've got Walter versus Rey Mysterio, you know, a big 6-man tag, and Kenny Omega will be in the main event. I'm not going to spoil against what it's going to be. And Metal, I'm rendering right now, so that will be in a week's time. And then beyond that, the Royal Rumble is done. So the pay-per-views I tend to get done quite early on because I have to put them up on Patreon in full. That's kind of like one of the tiers that you get. You can watch the full pay-per-view before it's been released on YouTube. It will be released on YouTube in parts in time. In September will be the Royal Rumble, but you can watch the whole of the Royal Rumble right now for just $3. But yeah, aside from that, like, you can you can watch it right now. This is a horrible live chat. Not you guys talking. I mean the fact that it keeps freezing on me. I'm not being mean, I promise. I'll try and get it back up again. Hold on. Keep your questions coming. And by the way, if you're new and you're putting your question in, like, I will get to it eventually. I'm just working my way through the chat, just trying to like answer as many questions as I can. Yeah, I hope no one takes that out of context by me saying the live chat's horrible. I meant my laptop being slow. I'll get it back up in a minute. Yeah, I don't know what's going on because like it's never. Maybe it's just like a time of night it is here because it's like 10:30 in the UK. Eventually, it will come back up, and we will rejoice. Goodness gracious. I apologise for this. Because I have the live stream on my phone. You see. And I'm reading the what's the word? Reading the live chat on my laptop, so you know, I'll get it through in a bit. Here we go. If I could redesign any WWE championship, which would I redesign? Right now, I think all the championships are alright. I think I'd say, I'm not quite sure. Maybe, because they're all quite generic these days, which is a shame. I'd maybe redesign. I'm not too sure. Like the main titles, you know, I'd make the Universal title and the WWE title a little bit more distinctive. You know, back in the days of the Attitude Era and the Ruthless Aggression Era. So I might change those. And likewise with the women's titles. The Intercontinental title design I'm not a massive fan of. Although the only title I really dig, I think, is... and this might be a hot take, but I think the women's tag team titles, you know, the design on that is unique enough. I think it's decent. And likewise with the US title. But yeah, probably like the main titles, just to give them a little bit more distinctive. She's a very deathmatch type. Yeah, again, like good. It's a good thing with a pick feds to be, you know, have your own unique style. So, were you the one who asked about whether you should use Bryan Danielson? That doesn't matter. You can always ask again. Would I ever bring the NWO back, but with new members alongside the old ones? I think the NWO angle has run its course. I did that for about a year, solid year and a bit. So I don't think I'll be bringing it back. I mean, it'd be an interesting idea, but I feel like, yeah, like it's like the same thing with like Bullet Club and stuff like that. It's overdone in pick feds. That's what people say, at least. I don't personally mind. But you know, I want to avoid kind of rehashing storylines, if that makes sense. Dun, 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 dun. What's going on? My thoughts on who's my favourite wrestler in AEW? I have a few. Obviously, Hangman Page is like the main one, but he's like everyone's favourite wrestler. I really like Jungle Boy. I think he's great. He's definitely one of my favourites. Aside from that, like I like everyone on that show. So it's difficult for me to kind of pick one out. I like Chris Statlander. I think she's great. Matt Sydal as well, I think, is quite underrated on that show. Yeah, like the thing is, like I like everyone on that show. Like it's not like there's anyone I dislike or I watch and I think, oh, I don't want to see this person. You know, I'm quite into everyone on the show. So I'd probably say like Hangman Page, Jungle Boy, and Luchasaurus and Chris Statlander are probably like the main ones that stick out in my mind. There's probably more. Thoughts on NXT releases? It was inevitable considering how they kind of hoarded their talent. You know, and I don't think it's entirely fair. I obviously as fans you forget that these are real people and they're people with real jobs, because you can look at it like, oh, these people aren't exactly being used and stuff like that, but at the end of the day they've signed contracts to stay there for like 3 years that lock them in, 5 years lock them in, and then to just be you know, disposed of at a moment's notice, and just have your income taken away from you like that is a bit of a horrible thing to happen, a horrible thing for a company to do. It's just in my opinion at least. You know, I understand that you know, you can't stay in WWE forever, but you know, it's not the wrestlers' fault that WWE had this policy of signing people for like 5 years, lock them in. And now they've just kind of thrown them out of the pram and been like, oh, we don't need you anymore. It's kind of a shame. Although most of the wrestlers I think will be fine. They'll find work. You know, the one I was shocked with was Bronson Reed. And Jake Atlas as well is pretty good. And there's a load of 205 guys who I was sad that left because, you know, obviously I don't follow 205 Live as much as I used to. Because in 2018 and 2019, 205 Live was like the only WWE show I properly watched other than like NXT. And then I kind of fell out of it a little bit. But yeah, like it's a shame, but it is what it is, I suppose. Hopefully they will land on their feet, especially Bronson Reed, because I really like that guy. What characters would you say you need for a pick fed? Like I said earlier, you need a mix of good wrestlers and good gimmicks. Who would I say is the face of NLW? I'm going to say, based on the fact that he's the champion, I'd say Jeff Hardy. Although for a long time it was probably Daniel Bryan, because he was the guy who was kind of you know, the champion. He was the underdog. So I'd say for a long time it flip-flops, because it used to be like John Cena, and I think right now, because Jeff Hardy's a heel, I can't really call him the face of NLW. I think it's maybe lacking a face. I'm not sure. Who do you guys think is the face of NLW? Let me know. But I'd say until Daniel Bryan comes back, and I do want to bring him back, probably Daniel Bryan, although I'd have to say, because he's the champion, Jeff Hardy at the moment. Although AJ Styles is quite synonymous with NLW, so I'd say him too. Who'd win in a Survivor Series match with WWE and AEW? Kayfabe-wise, I'm not sure. I'd say... You see, I don't know. Because it depends who's on the team. If you've got Roman Reigns on the WWE team, I'm talking like strictly kayfabe, not who I prefer. I'm saying if you've got Roman Reigns on that team, then, like, you know, WWE's winning. You know, I think he's booked, just unstoppable. Take Roman Reigns out of the equation. If you've just got like a guys like Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and all that, and you're putting them against like Kenny and the Bucks and Hangman and all that, maybe AEW. But I'd say in kayfabe terms, if you pick the top stars of WWE and AEW, I'd probably say that WWE would win. Controversial take, I know, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. Who's the most expensive figure I own? Aside from customs, because I've bought some expensive customs that are like 80 quid, like a Perry Saturn, but they're good quality, so, you know, I like those. The Vader one set me back 50 quid. That was quite expensive, £50. The Jushin Liger as well was £60 from Ringside, that I own. And I've also bought Cassius Ohno from Figs 31, the 60 quid, but it's understandable because it's rare. And I bit the bullet and bought a Bam Bam Bigelow from the Target exclusive one on eBay for £60. So that set me back a little bit. And if you want to help me out, go and pay $3 to go onto Patreon and watch the Royal Rumble, and maybe I can make some of that money back. And you'll get a shout out in the comments and stuff, you know. So, I'm trying to do a pick fed match with Gargano and Sami Zayn, but Sami is a basic, is a pain to use. Yeah, basics are quite difficult to do a pick fed with. I have found ways of using basics. For example, if you turn the feet a little bit, you can make them look like they're running. So there are ways you can get around it. So it's not the end of the world to use basics, but yeah, elites are easier to pose about with. What are some good pay-per-view names? Think of ones, I like funny ones, like Progress used to do. And I like pay-per-view names that are based on the talent involved. So I had Enter the Dragon, and I had Ungovernable for pay-per-view names because of Daniel Bryan and Tetsuya Naito respectively. So that kind of thing I like. What do you think is the biggest what if in wrestling history? I would say Sting joining the New World Order instead of Hogan. If Hogan had chickened out. Or Sting winning the title at Starrcade and Nick Patrick actually doing the fast count, I think is a good one. Or like the Finger Poker Doom, getting rid of that. Or if Nash hadn't beaten the streak. I think there's loads of WCW ones. In terms of WWE, big what ifs. What if CM Punk had just left with the title and like done like a proper Summer of Punk and come back at WrestleMania and done a unification? I mean, that's quite a big one. But other than that, I'm not sure, really. But those are like the main ones that stick out in my mind, personally. Why is metal shut down? It's a way for me to kind of... I don't want to give too much away because it's a storyline. You know, I will say metal being cancelled at this moment in time, it's a storyline, okay? I don't want to say whether metal will be back or not. But I can say, don't be too disheartened that Triple H has cancelled it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Come October, the storyline will you'll see it progress. But for now, I don't want to talk too much about metal being cancelled that much. I'll answer some questions about it if it's appropriate, if it's not going to give away spoilers. But yeah, I wanted to make it a storyline because I feel like... yeah, anyway, you'll see... watch NLW for the next 2 months. And then come... I want to say episode 100. You'll see it like develop further from there. And I've got some plans, and all I'll say is I'm super excited for you to see it, and I've written some stuff, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it. So don't be too worried that metal is shut down for now. But yeah, that's it. Who inspired me to start NLW? Steve-O, WWE Steve-O. Check them out if you type their name in. They haven't been active for years, but like really good animations. LKS and Angus the Cat, they're the main ones. There's a guy called Rated R Superstar 2008 that's done like a Money in the Bank. I can't remember exactly what the name of their fed was, but that was the kind of thing that motivated me, you know, other than like LKS and Steve-O. Those are the main ones, and like, yeah, so they're the ones that kind of prompted me to start doing stop motion and stop motion shows, especially Steve-O, because he started like a mini, like some short episodes with like Jack's figures and stuff, but they're really good, especially like considering it's like 10 years ago. The animation quality is fantastic. But yeah, like, and JWS as well, I would say, because I was starting and he's did more animations as I was, you know, building up my stuff. But yeah, that's quite funny that he thought Bronson Reed was Brodus Clay. Bronson Reed is like miles better than Brodus Clay in my opinion. Will I ever do a complete reset in NLW? I don't think I'll do a complete reset. I think I've built on the history quite a lot in the way that I've built my characters and stuff. So I don't think there'll ever be a complete reset, although I may reset some particular shows, wink wink. But yeah, but like the characters and the storylines and stuff, I don't think I could ever do a complete reset because I'm quite happy with the lineage that I built up with it. But yeah. Yeah, and Tim, like, good on you for watching the tutorial and getting a light and getting sorted and started. My main advice to anyone who wants to start a pick fed, just start. If it doesn't go well, it won't go well. In fact, I've got some of the shows that I made before NLW. It was called EFW Mayhem, and the storylines on that are actually the storylines I used for the first few months in NLW. So I'll have to pop that in the DVD. I might show it as like a second channel video. I think that'd be a cool idea to get those DVDs out. Dun, 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 dun. Whoa, hold on a minute. Just trying to get through the chat. Who are the budget cuts? You're talking about metal. I think that I'll just talk about the story. Oh, my cat lamp has run out. But anyway, the storyline on metal, Triple H is trying to like slash the budget, and it's kind of a riff on what WWE is doing at the moment. Not entirely, because I planned the storyline beforehand, but I've put the budget cut stuff in just as kind of like a play in real life. Worst finishing move, in my opinion, the Playmaker. MVP's one where he puts his leg over the head and then that's not a very good finishing move in my opinion. What do I use to make my stop motion pick fed? So, got my lights, got my setup, got my DSLR camera, my Canon, and my tripod, my Amazon tripod, and that's basically it really. And then I put it into Windows Movie Maker. I know I'm basic because I can see the photos frame by frame, and then I edit the sound and the video in a Sony Movie Studio. So that's the basic gist of it, but if you want to see it more in depth, go into my video on how to edit a pick fed. What's my favourite Pentagon Junior figure and my favourite Ray Phoenix? I only own the two. I only own the Series 2 action figures. I've seen the Series 6 ones, they look pretty cool. Maybe I'll get them in future. They're on sale. I haven't heard anything about the boss fight ones. I missed out on the Ray Phoenix because I saw one that was like damaged box for like 25 quid and I wished I got it, but it is what it is. So at the moment I've only got the first two. And actually, Figs31 painted up a custom one for me, like the Venom attire for Pentagon Junior, which is really cool, and you'll see that at the Royal Rumble. Yeah. Idea to build up Seth Rollins versus X-Pac. It really depends what story you want to tell with it. So I'd say look at their past feuds in WWE, and sometimes it's good to combine things. So sometimes maybe X-Pac is hanging around with someone, or X-Pac is like, he can reference something in his past like DX, and reference something about Seth Rollins and Triple H maybe. I don't know. It's just like mix and matching ideas sometimes and really building on that. That's my opinion on that. Thoughts on Bray Wyatt's release? Ridiculous that you would get rid of a guy who has such a great fan support, has great merch, has great character ideas. Why you'd release him, I don't know. Obviously the only reason is they're paying him a big contract, but the man's been there for 10 years on the road. I think he's earned the money that he was making. And the thing with Bray Wyatt is he will be fine. He will be absolutely fine. He will find work elsewhere. I'm sure that people are chomping at the bit to get him to sign with them. And if he wants to take a break as well, he's earned that right too. So more power to him is my view on it. I think he's probably better off being gone, to be honest. He'll bounce back. My computer is the weather that postponed WrestleMania. Yeah, it's a bit naff. Do I want to use Bray Wyatt more in NLW? I'm only starting his arc with The Fiend. So what you're seeing with Bray Wyatt, The Fiend versus Kurt Angle, which has been confirmed for the Royal Rumble, that's going to build up over the next week or so, few weeks. And then the Fiend character will build as we go into WrestleMania, and I'm planning on something big for the Fiend at WrestleMania, so look out for that. How was filming the NWO stuff? I really enjoyed it at the time. I didn't actually plan it on getting as big as it did, because at the start I was just like, Kevin Nash and the Big Show, they ain't doing nothing together. I'll put them in a tag team as the NWO. So I really didn't plan for it to get to like the main event of WrestleMania when I first started it. But then I kind of spitballed ideas, and I was thinking, what if R-Truth joined it? What if, you know, the Commissioner joined it? And then Shawn Michaels, and like bringing in young guys like Seth Rollins, bringing back Scott Hall and stuff like that. And the original plan at WrestleMania was for it not even to be called WrestleMania. The plan was for it to be called Sold Out, NLW Sold Out. And at that event, the NWO would win a match to get control. And that's what ended up being the WrestleMania 2 main event. So instead of having the NWO win, because I felt that at the time of WrestleMania, the NWO stuff had run its course, and I decided that instead of having it be... I'm back. And avoiding a unwanted face reveal. Oh my god. I didn't dox myself, did I? I'm okay. Dude, you guys are real ones for sticking by me. We'll see how long it goes until my phone dies again. What was the last question I was on? I'll keep answering some questions. I won't go too long. I might go for the next 15 minutes as long as my phone doesn't die on me again. But we'll see. Luckily, it had the option to resume it once I came back on the stream, which was good. So I cursed YouTube. Apologies, YouTube. Thank you for saving me. Basically, my phone had a little notification saying critical temperature far too high. I'm in a really hot room, so it makes sense, and my phone's on. Next time I'm just going to do it from my laptop, I think, or my computer. But yeah. So, was I talking about the NWO stuff? Have I mentioned that? Did I answer the question about the NWO stuff, or did it like cut out? Let me know. Yeah, okay. So I was talking about the NWO stuff. Basically, I was very fond of filming that stuff. That's all I was going to say. Yeah, so I'll try and get through some of these quick. Is there a new authority faction, Triple H and Kevin Owens? Not necessarily like an authority. More, I'm trying to build on the stuff with Kevin Owens having run over Triple H because of the Commissioner. You know, you watch the promo. It's WrestleMania 3, part 4 of 8. Watch the promo for the Kevin Owens Triple H match, and it kind of explains the story. But yeah, now that Kevin Owens, Triple H is Kevin Owens' boss, Owens is like, oh damn, I guess I'm going to have to do what this guy says. But again, Triple H is still kind of scared of Kevin Owens, so that's why they're kind of working together, even though they don't like each other at the moment. That's the idea. Is Angel Garza just Garza in NLW? No, he's Angel Garza. Is he Garza on the main roster? I'm not quite sure. But no, he's Angel Garza. Do you think Finn Balor should bring back the Demon in WWE? I think it's cool. I think it gave his character a little bit of a different dimension. Sold merch. I think he should bring it back. Can I torso crack and put Elite Arms onto the basics? I'm not quite sure about that. I have no clue. I think you are able to put basics on the elites. The stream numbers are getting up again. Thank goodness. All right, we're good. But yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, like the Christian Bailey storyline is a bit of a weird one, but like now it's like yeah, like the ministry stuff will continue, and now Kane being back with Bailey, that's kind of Bailey progressing on and becoming more standing up for herself, basically. That's my opinion of it. Since Kevin Owens attacked the Commissioner, does that mean they'll have a loser leaves match? Well, to be fair, the Commissioner has been fired by Triple H in storyline, so he's gone. And Kevin Owens is fine. Like he's in the pocket of Triple H now. Have you ever thought of bringing NLW to 2K in the future? What would be your thoughts on this? I haven't personally, because I'm not much of a gamer, so I wouldn't be able to kind of bring it to life that well. But if anyone wants to make an NLW server for 2K, by all means, go ahead. You know. Will I form the bloodline on NLW? Potentially, although you know, I think they're doing a good job of it in WWE, so I don't want to try and copy WWE too much. opinions on the Legends Lucha Libre figures. I haven't got them in hand, so I'm not quite sure. I know the scale's a bit off with some of them. I would have liked to got the Rey Fenix, as I said earlier, but obviously couldn't get hold of that one. But I will say I might get one. Might get one in future. We'll see. The video where he reacts to his old stuff was on the birth of Long Neck Batista. Ah, yes. Anyone remember Long Neck Batista, by the way? He was the figure I had in the crowd. So I had the Batista figure, and like it was like taped around his neck because it'd been battered from when I played with them as kids as a kid, and I played with the figure so badly that the head came off, and that's the head I used for the commissioner. Funny story. The rear view, it still does damage, I suppose, doesn't it? What's my favourite pay-per-view that I filmed? I would say True Grit. Like, I know it's the most recent one. I had a lot of fun filming that one. Other than that, I don't know which one I had fun filming. I did enjoy... trying to think which one it was now. I'm not quite sure. The more pay-per-views I do, the more I enjoy it. So, the Royal Rumble I enjoyed quite a bit, but I'd say True Grit because I feel like the stage setup as well I really liked, and a lot of that is down to Wrestlistic and his great printouts, so I got them to thank for that, and the new crowd and everything, so I'd probably say that. Right. What should you do for entrances if you don't want to get copyrighted? I think just playing the entrance music on like low and having the crowd higher will save you on that. Don't just have the entrances. I don't quite know about that because I use custom music. Triple H took away metal. Remembers the commissioner basically ended his career. So that's the kind of thing I wanted to create with the metal storyline. Was the fact that Triple H is technically in the right, but he's not. He's kind of, even though his beef was with the commissioner, he's taking it out on you, the fans, and he shouldn't be doing that because he was like the big hero. Even though before the storyline with him and the commissioner, he was just as evil. He was horrible. He was horrible to the commissioner for so long before that incident. And I think people will forget that because I think it was episode 26 where Triple H punched the commissioner in the face. And that's why the first Triple Cage was booked. Fun story. And then from there, the tables turned and fans started to cheer for Triple H, even though Triple H was kind of a bad guy, but the commissioner was technically in the right, but he was still like being a bit egotistical and evil, and then the roles switched again. So I like playing with the face and heel dynamic of that. So now I'm getting to the point in the chat where my phone dipped. Oopsie daisy. So now we're back. Now we're back to here we go. Most underrated NXT Takeover match, in my opinion. I don't know. I'll tell you what. I've been to a couple of NXT Takeovers. I went to NXT Takeover London. I went to Brooklyn 3, and I went to New Orleans. And like being there live, I think the most underrated one. I don't know. I'll tell you one I really, really enjoyed was Enzo and Cass versus the Revival when I went to London. That was really fun to watch. And then like watching on TV, I'm not quite sure what one would be underrated because I can't I'd have to go back and watch and kind of remind myself of it. Tommaso Ciampa had quite a few good NXT title defenses. They're quite underrated. And like the early NXTs, the ones that got me into NXT in the first place in 2014, like Neville versus Kid and the Fatal 4-Way and like Neville versus Zayn, those are the matches that got me hooked on NXT in the first place back in 2014. Nostalgia of that. Subreddit where you can talk about WWE figures and pick feds. There's probably one about. I'm not massively into my Reddit, so I'm not quite sure. But I think that'd be a good idea for someone to set up. Why did I vacate the hardcore title after Brody Lee won it? Because obviously he passed away. The plan was, because I filmed Brody Lee winning the title before he died. because I was going to have him be on this dominant run. And then, like, you know, obviously the news came through and I was devastated, and because he's like, he was one of my favourite wrestlers ever, and that's not like me saying that because, you know, he's not with us, but you know, genuinely at the time it was like, oh man, like I was so psyched to see him in AEW and that, and he was like literally one of my favourites. So the only reason I took him out of the show is just because it'd just be too sad for me to film with him. I might bring him back in future when you know, because obviously got an unrivaled figure coming out and things like that, and then when the kind of dust has settled a little bit, but it still feels too soon, to be honest. And that's it really. I didn't want to have like I kept the matches with him in, even like because I'd already filmed them, but I didn't want to continue using him so soon because it would just make, like, it was too soon. It made me sad to film with him. That's all it was. What made me bring back Kane? I think I needed more of like the old school NLW vibes, because there was a point last year where I was like, it doesn't really feel like NLW anymore, and I was worried about that. So what I wanted to do was bring back old characters like Shawn Michaels, like Triple H, like Kane, who were kind of synonymous with NLW in the early years. So bringing back Kane was more of a way for me to go down more of a spectacular Attitude Era kind of style and direction, and I need more big characters in there. And the main thing that made me want to bring back Kane is listening to his unreleased Typo Negative theme, Out of the Fire it's called, and I got my NLW Music to make a cover for it, and that's the song you hear when he returned on episode 97, and I just love the riff on it, I love the song, and I thought, what if Kane made his return like he did in 2000 to this? This would be a great moment, and then that's why I made it for episode 97, so yeah, that's why I brought back Kane. Will Tyler Bate, Randy, Cena, Bret Hart, Sting return? Any of those people can return at any time. Like, I don't really have what I don't have like specific, what's the word, idea as to where who's going to come in or come back really, and I don't like to spoil people on it, so all I'll say is almost anything's possible. So your phone died. Oh yeah, when I said, well, I was talking about entrances earlier, not getting copyrighted. I was just saying keep the music at a low volume, reverb it, keep the crowd noise high. Yeah. So Bailey has become AJ Lee when she joined Kane. Kinda, but she's not just crazy. She has got a motive. Like, she trusted Buddy Murphy. Bailey trusted Buddy Murphy. That's the storyline, because they were friends from like the Performance Center days when they were training together. And it turns out all Buddy Murphy was trying to do was cozy up to the Undertaker and try and gain the Undertaker's favour, rather than actually try and protect Bailey. Although you could argue that Buddy Murphy does care about Bailey, he's just kind of being controlled by the Undertaker, and you know, what have you. So now Bailey's trying to get her revenge, and the story I'm trying to tell is, and I don't know if this is coming across on NLW, is that Kane was being held captive by his brother in order for the Undertaker to try and get Kane to join the Ministry, to be kind of like a mercenary, like his heavy, his bodyguard, to inflict his punishment and stuff. And the story is that Bailey was betrayed, so she decided to help free Kane from the Undertaker and show him a different way and use him to, you know, get back at the Undertaker and set him free, kind of thing. NLW, what does NLW stand for? Yeah, it's No Limits Wrestling. It is my channel name. But yeah, that's fair. If you're only subscribed to this channel, by the way, which I don't know, is anyone only subscribed to this channel? Because I'm not quite sure. I feel like most people have come over from the other one. I've got my main channel, No Limits Wrestling. That's where I post my main stuff, but I don't know. Will CM Punk come back to NLW? Because, yeah, in NLW he faced Stone Cold and then kind of left. So, again, like Cena, Orton and all those guys, Punk is someone who I might have him return in future. I'm not too sure at the moment, but yeah. I'm at the bottom of the chat. Anyone got any more questions? Pop them in. I'll try and answer some more in the last couple of minutes. Oh yeah, like the Ministry of Darkness stuff was an inspiration in the Attitude Era was an inspiration for this storyline. Yeah, so the Midian stuff is kind of like Kane was, and he was freed. Favorite wrestler, Daniel Bryan probably. My God, if he comes to AEW, I will scream. Like I love Daniel Bryan wherever he ends up. I'm happy for him to see him wrestle. Him or like, you know, maybe a controversial opinion. I really do like Kenny Omega as well, to be honest. Maybe not necessarily like I don't like him in AEW, if that makes sense. Like I hate him as a heel and I want him to lose that championship. But like as a wrestler, I like him. I don't know if that makes no sense, but you know what I mean. Would I ever do a Survivor Series type show? I would like to do like more Survivor Series matches, but yeah, maybe in future. Maybe for NLW 24/7. Not really a question. I don't really do. Oh, hold on. Favorite pay-per-view film? I said earlier it was True Grit. I think the set and everything and the stage and all that was yeah, it just came together quite well. One of the most talented superstars on my NLW roster, probably Ricochet. If you want to talk about like high flying flip-de-doo stuff, Will Ospreay, you know, AJ Styles. I'm trying to make NLW a cross between Attitude Era and like modern day NXT indie-rific kind of stuff. Mox and Raids are pretty good. How do I start with NLW Music? NLW Music is someone I know who, so that the channel's not mine, but I made the graphics for them and everything. But go and subscribe to NLW Music as well. By the way, they make covers they make the music that you hear in NLW shows. The covers, they're really sick. Puts a lot of work into them, and I'm very happy that they can get them out on like such, you know, quick speed. And they're releasing some more. So the link to their channel will be, go on, just type in NLW Music and you'll find it. That's the channel name. Yeah, so subscribe to them. And yeah, like just said one day, like they're practicing with like FL Studio and making music, and I was like, maybe you can make me some custom themes. And they did, and they'll make them for me ever since. So big shout out to NLW Music. It's not me, by the way, but yeah, go and subscribe to them. You think you know? I think I know who the mystery partner is for the 6-man tag. I don't think you do. Tell me who you think it is. I'm not going to tell you who the mystery partner is for the 6-man tag. But like, I'd just be curious to know who you think it's going to be, and I won't say anything. I was surprised WWE put Brock and Punk. Yeah, that was a good match at the time. With rumours that Punk is going to join AEW. Oh, you think Matt Riddle's going to be the 6-man? I won't say anything. Don't get your hopes up, is all I'll say. But there will be surprises at the Royal Rumble, so I'll say that. Yeah, what do I think about the rumours about Punk joining AEW? What do I think? I think it's great for them, honestly. I think it's a mainstream, not mainstream, but like in terms of wrestling, to get that guy to come back to wrestling is like a big thing, and it seems more likely now that it's going to happen. So I'm pumped because it'll, like a week from tonight, it's I say it's rumoured to happen. It's all but been confirmed that CM Punk will be on Rampage like this time next Friday. So yeah, like to set up that thing with Darby Allin for All Out. Oh my god, wrestling in 2021 is wild, and CM Punk's been one of my favourites for ages. Very much looking forward to seeing him come to AEW. Least favourite NLW pay-per-view? I don't really have a least favourite, but I would say like the early ones probably weren't as good. I'd say as much as... Yeah, I don't have a least favourite, I would say. Maybe the early ones, just because I'm still finding my feet there. But yeah, every pay-per-view I make, I know it sounds a bit cocky, but I always put a lot of effort into it, so I can't really have a least favourite, I'd say. The oldest figure I have, the first figure I ever bought and I think I still have it. I bought it in, well, I didn't buy it because I would have been like 8, but it was a Carlito figure. Got it from the supermarket. £2, $2, whatever you want to say. So a Carlito Ruthless Aggression figure, and then from there my mum bought me William Regal and Paul Burchill 2-pack, and then it was like probably like late 2006, early 2007, I would say. My mum bought me a Chris Benoit figure and the SmackDown step from Argos as like a treat. So yeah, I got my Benoit figure. I was mega happy with it, and then like a few months later, the whole incident went down. So that was bad timing. But for a while, I wouldn't say my figure fed. My figure fed consisted of Carlito, Paul Burchill, William Regal, and Chris Benoit wrestling each other over and over again in the SmackDown arena. Those are good times. What figure do I find myself playing around with the most? I would say probably like the Kenny Omega, like the Series 4. Yeah, I've got the unmatched one now, but I'd say that one I use quite a lot. By the way, just as a heads up as well, if the stream cuts out again, stay on. Like, don't leave, because, it'll just take like a minute for my phone to call, so just keep the tab open, that's all. The Kenny Omega Series 4, Unrivaled, is one I play around with a lot. I really like the AEW figures. I think they're really good posability. My first experience with wrestling figures, again, like I said earlier, it was getting that Carlito, and then the Paul Burchill, William Regal 2-pack, and the Chris Benoit. And then once I got the SmackDown fist stage with the ring, the SmackDown ring, and like the scaffolding structure, that's where I started like playing around with figures and stuff. And then like early 2008, I used to make like these big sets. So I remember Christmas 2007, I begged my parents for the ECW Jack 6-pack, the Extreme set. Go and Google it. I think it had CM Punk, Bobby Lashley, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Elijah Burke, and Kevin Thorne. And that right there like doubled the amount of figures I had. And I even like drew the brick wall ECW stage, because I was mad obsessed with ECW at the time. I know it's really weird. There's like an 8-year-old to be obsessed with WWE's version of ECW in all. Because I also got SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 that year, so that was a good Christmas. And that's like early wrestling figure memories. And then I can't remember when I first started like making shows. I remember writing them as far back as like 2009, 2010, like in like 2008 even, like writing out shows just for myself. Again, I wouldn't post them to YouTube or anything, but I just kind of write the shows. Based on the real life rosters as well. So if when Jeff Hardy got drafted to SmackDown in 2008, for instance, I moved him from my Raw roster to my SmackDown roster, and like I played around with it like that, and then eventually, 2010, 2011, I started filming some stuff. Didn't post it to YouTube, but I just kind of had mini stop motions on my computer, and then I went up to start NLW 2012, and then the rest is history. I might talk about it more. I think that might be a fun second channel video, so I kind of talk about that. Favourite New Japan wrestler? Naito. Yeah, Naito's pretty good. I haven't really watched New Japan that much recently, though, to be honest. I would say Naito was my favourite. But now, I'm not sure. Ishii as well was really good. Is he still in New Japan? Yeah. Who's the owner of NLW from a story standpoint? Me? I don't know. I guess picture like a chairman, and then picture like they don't get involved in anything, right? And then the person below him, or her, whatever you want to say, would be Triple H, and that's why he's able to make all these decisions, because the chairman's not paying attention. So, I guess you could say there is no chairman. I think it might make it confusing if I made a chairman. I don't know. Should Cagley reveal himself as the chairman of NLW at some point? Let me know. Or that ruin the storyline? I'm not quite sure. Do I have the Elimination Chamber playset? I've got the Jax one. I don't have the what's the other one? The newer one, because it's too small. It's for like spring ring, so I wouldn't really be able to film that much in it. That's the only reason I don't have it. I hope they make a scale one. In fact, I hope that the next Mattel crowdfund is the Elimination Chamber, like a modern one. That'd be really cool. Or that and the SmackDown Fist. But yeah. Oh, speaking of the Mattel creation thing, did you see that they backed the they've gotten to the 5,000 that they need to make that new Gen Arena? Have any of you backed it? I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it. What would I do if Roman Reigns went to AEW? I think, well, I mean, it ain't happening anytime soon. But you know, he's a big star. It would drive up numbers drastically. Roman Reigns is a megastar, so he's going to stay in WWE naturally. He's huge. Favorite wrestling weapon? I love me a kendo stick. I like that. I like the sound it makes. That's it. Will there ever be an NLW death match? I would say that Stone Cold versus Adam Cole was kind of the closest thing we've had to a death match so far. I don't know if I'd promote it as a death match. You know, I don't think YouTube likes the word death in its title. But there is a death match coming up on NLW 24/7, so look out for that. Why did you use Chris in the pick fed? Benoit, I don't know. I was stupid. I wouldn't do it in hindsight. But again, I separated him as a person to him as a wrestler, and like, yeah, like I've got a custom figure of him and all that I made. It's just like I'm more of a completionist in that sense. I think as well because I was younger and because I was such a massive fan of Chris Benoit when I first got into WWE. I don't know, maybe it was... We're back. We're back. We're back, we're back, we're back. You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of NLW. Exactly. I didn't do an accidental face reveal there, did I? I'm going to make this quick. Thank you to everyone for coming back. I really appreciate it. I know it's been a pain. Hold on a minute. I'm going to answer these questions real quick. So, my most recent figure, I bought 10 of the Dark Order from Beyond the North Customs on Instagram. So 10 of the Dark Order is the most recent figure I bought. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to using it again at some point. I'm gonna speed run these questions before my phone dies again. 1 second. Favorite Cody Rhodes action figure? The TNT title one. Love it. I wonder what's going to happen to the Champions of Metal since Metal's been cancelled. Next Saturday on Metal, Triple H will explain exactly what's happening with the championships and exactly what's happening with the roster. What's my favourite WWE belt? Or AEW belt? My favourite belt in wrestling at the moment is probably the AEW Championship. As far as favourite WWE belt, probably the US title. Favourite figure to animate with? Probably the Kenny Omega. Or, no, the Kenny Omega Series 4, I'd say. What to do? What made me come up with the Antichrist Jeff Hardy persona? So he had that persona in TNA, and a lot of people weren't a massive fan of Jeff Hardy's TNA heel turn in TNA, but I was. So I was like, that's pretty cool. So I wanted to take that and transfer it, and I thought, what if he actually joined The Undertaker in the Ministry? So that's why I wanted to kind of bring that Antichrist persona back to NLW, considering The Undertaker and Kenny Omega had ties, and they were fighting for the title, and then, you know, Hardy comes in and steals it. That's the reason for that. Just to introduce myself into the storyline. I might make a custom figure of myself at some point, I'm not sure. What I do if John Moxley came, but what, in the Fed? He's already in there, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is quite expensive, is the Mattel Creations thing, so I understand, you know. Exploding barbed wire death match. It would be better than AEW's because I'd actually use a proper explosion. There you go. It's not that expensive to ship to the UK, you know. I only got charged like $15 shipping. So that was like the international shipping wasn't too bad. You might get struck down on customs, but it doesn't work out to that. It's not as bad as I was expecting. That's what I'll say. Will you see Triple H make a return as a wrestler in NLW in future? Maybe with this thing going on. Right, so I'm grateful that everyone's come back. By the way, I know. Like, thank you for like bearing with me. Right. Yeah, you should release my phone. It's terrible. Favorite ringside exclusive figure. The TNT Cody, was that ringside exclusive? Yeah, that's probably my favorite. Although the Brian Kendrick they released a couple of years ago is pretty good. I am nowhere near San Antonio, so I will not be there when Raw. I would not pay tickets to see Raw at the moment. If AEW comes to the UK, I'll see that. Most recent NLW episode I filmed Metal episode 80 today, and that's going to go out next Saturday. Other than that actual NLW episode was episode 98, and that's coming out tomorrow. So watch that. Advice for someone that wants to get into fedding: just start. It's going to be terrible at the start, but once you get going, it gets easier, I promise. And have good lighting as well. What's up? What helps me come up with interesting storylines? Watching old wrestling really helps. Watch like Attitude Era, see how they book things week to week. Watch AEW at the moment, see how they progress things over long term. You know, and watch just like different styles of wrestling, like from Japan, ROH, what have you, and see what you like, and try and incorporate elements of it into your pick fed. And stop motion man, that's really good advice. Not everything has to be perfect. If it's okay, if it's bad, you can learn a lot. And lighting is key. Make sure you have a decent roster. There you go. That's all you need to know, because that's really good advice. Will we get Jon Moxley versus Seth Rollins? Probably not, because I know that's a feud that's been done to death in a lot of pick feds, and I want to try and keep it like, you know, and in WWE as well. So I want to try and keep it like separate there. Yeah, like that definitely. So, right, last question. One or two last questions, and I'll wrap it up. Anyone got anything before my phone implodes? You're gonna have to type quickly. Any last ones? No? Right, so I think my phone might very well explode. Oh, that's good. Oh, sweet. That's alright. Favourite wrestler at the moment? Hangman Page. There you go. Good. That's a good one to end it on. Right, so thank you, like legit, thank you so much for bearing with me. Least favourite match to film. I don't know, I like everything. Anything with like a cage and stuff. So yeah. Thank you all for watching so much. Like, I really appreciate you bearing with me before my phone overheats and implodes. Rey Mysterio in the main event scene? Yeah, maybe at some point. I would like to push him at some point. So yeah, like, definitely. Thank you again so much. Watch NLW episode 98 tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, like, that's it. I'll do another live stream at some point in the future. And this time, I'll use my bloody computer and not my phone, because my phone is trash. Thank you all. Right, I'll see you later, guys. Thank you so much.